are watching Twin Tiers Sunday with Leanne DeRosa.
Welcome to Twin Tiers Sunday. I'm your host, Leanne DeRosa. It is fall, and it's my absolute favorite season. It's just beautiful, especially living here in the Twin Tiers. You've got the changing leaves, the cool breeze, and the warmed baked goods made with apples and pumpkins. So today we're going to explore a few of the things that come to mind when you think of fall. We've got apple picking, corn mazes, and even haunted houses. So let's go. We're going to start in the apple orchard. I'm here with Rick Reisinger, the owner of Reisinger's Apple Country in Watkins Glen. Thanks for having me today.
Hey, I'm glad you're here. It's a great day.
It is a great day. It's absolutely beautiful out here. And now this is fall, and fall is your busy season. What does it take to run an apple orchard?
It takes a person who can think ahead and also be a gambler at the same time because this year is a perfect example. You have weather challenges every year and you have to plan ahead for those things. So on our farm, our season begins really as soon as the harvest is over. We're working constantly to keep the trees as healthy as we can, and that we spend the year doing that. So every year is different, and we pretty much just worry about things like, frost injury, because at this point we have nothing to control that. So we did catch quite a freeze this year, which has reduced our crop probably 25 to 30% overall.
How's the drought affecting this year's crop?
Well, right now we're pretty much over. Today's the first day of autumn, and so we've gotten some recent rains, and so for us now we're not worried about the drought. But what happened during the summer, early in the summer especially, really influenced how much the trees could produce for food for the fruit to make them size and stuff. So the size of the early varieties was smaller than we'd like, but we're just really happy to have a nice crop this year. We've been through all of our early varieties, went really fast, but had excellent quality, eating quality, sweetness and stuff, but just really lucky to have a crop because of all the challenges. We did the best we could, and under the circumstances, everything came through well. We just have to make sure they go into the winter as full of energy as they can, then they'll be better next year.
Okay, let's talk about the trees. We're surrounded here. How many trees do you have? And I guess how many different varieties are there?
We have about 12,000 trees on the farm, and we're planting another 1,000 next spring, and then we have 20 varieties of apples. For us on our farm, our early season ones are the Paula Reds, which is similar to a Mac, Sansa, Ginger Golds, and one more, a Zestar. Those are ones not really familiar to a lot of people, but if you come up and pick, they'll become very familiar to you because they're all unique, and for early apples, they're wonderful eating apples.
And how early is early?
We start usually mid-August, okay. Maybe the 20th, somewhere around there. And it's good because to get the first apples of the year is always pretty exciting. Yeah. And so once we get through those, then we move into things like Macintosh, John and Max, and we're into Galas now, and just finishing those up. And then
that's like early September?
That's early to mid-September. And then when we get into latter part of September, a lot of things come in. We're talking about Crimson Crisp on our farm, which is a very dense, crunchy apple. Of course, Honey Crisp is mid to late September. And on to things like Cortland's and a new one we grow called Snapdragons. That's coming up very quickly. Fuji's, Northern Spies, Empires, John of Gold, Cameo, and I'm sure there's stuff I'm missing, but and Golden Delicious. So yeah, there's a lot of variety. Everything from really super sweet, like the Golden Delicious, and Cameos, down to stuff that will pucker you up, like the John and Max early in the spring. So they're all different flavors.
I always wonder, I struggle every year with this, what apples are best for baking? Does it vary? Or are there certain ones you should look out for?
There's certain ones you want to get for baking if you can every year. We start out with a baking apple called Paula Red. That's similar to a Macintosh. That's for early season. Then the next one you would come into would be Cortland's. John of Gold's just after that. And then everybody that's baked for, a generation ago, they love Northern Spice. And those are really the best apple I've ever had for a pie. And then the other one that nobody really realizes till they get them home is Honeycrisp is a fantastic apple as well for baking with.
Okay.
So we use, there isn't a bad apple that you can bake with, it's just that some of them are better.
Yeah, and actually speaking of baking, we're gonna go inside and meet with Karen and Jane. They are the head donut makers, and we're gonna learn how they make the delicious apple cider donut. So let's go. Okay, so we're inside Rye Singers, and I'm with Karen and Jane. They are the ladies responsible for that delicious cinnamony smell that you smell when you're walking through the orchard. It's coming out these windows because they make the donuts, the fresh hot apple cider donuts. So tell me what the whole process is like, start to finish.
We make the donuts here. The donuts are made from a mix, but we add cinnamon and cider to the donuts, so they're all apple cider donuts. Putting the mix in is not exactly the simplest job. We have 2 donut robots that we use. On the weekends, they're going nonstop.
On an average day, they'll make about 500 donuts, but on a prime apple picking weekend, they'll make more than 5,000.
Last year, we made 65,000 donuts in 2.5 months. The demand gets pretty hectic, so we hustle around and get them out as fast as we can.
There are 3 different types of donuts: plain, powdered sugar, and cinnamon sugar.
The most popular is the cinnamon and sugar. That is everybody's favorite. Everybody likes apple cider donuts. They are like,
of course.
People come and they buy a dozen or 2 dozen. They can't go home without donuts when they come to the apple farm.
What do you think people love so much about them?
Well, Janie and I have talked about this, and these are the old-fashioned donuts.
Fry cakes, yeah.
The fry cakes that our grandmothers made in a frying pan in hot oil, and that's what people like. It's the old fry cakes.
Of course, I had to try one for myself. Hot out of the fryer and smothered in cinnamon sugar, I couldn't ask for anything better. You can't eat just one. We have to take a break. When we come back, we're heading outside to get lost in one very unique corn maze. Join me after the break. Welcome back. We're discovering all the fall favorites in the Twin Tiers. We've got our apples and donuts, and now we're heading outside for some fun. So our second stop of the day is Stoughton Farm here in Newark Valley, right here in the southern tier, but it's actually making national headlines for a pretty intricate corn maze. Every year, they come up with a special design. And I'm here with Tim Stoughton. He's the owner here at Stoughton Farm. Tim, tell us what makes this corn maze so special, and tell us about these designs you come up with.
Well, this year it's about the Mario Brothers, so that seems to really be something people can relate to. And yeah, people seem to be really excited about it.
Tell me, how do you come up with the designs every year?
Well, my wife actually comes up with the designs. She thinks about it through the year and tries to come up with something that people will enjoy and will connect with.
How many years have you been doing this?
I think this is our 12th year as far as corn mazes.
What kind of different designs do you have every year? So Mario Brothers this year, but it's varied over the years.
Yes, last year was about bullying, anti-bullying. We did one about pets. One year we did the likeness of my parents from their wedding anniversary when they had their 50th anniversary. That was pretty cool. So yeah, we try to find something local a lot of times.
How do you actually make the maze and design it? Because it's perfect when you look at the aerial photo from above, but you're standing here in corn that's taller than we are. So how do you actually map it out?
We work with a maze company out of Utah, and they help us with mapping it out, and we come in and take the corn out in June when it's not quite as big, and make our pathways, and hopefully it comes out right.
Okay. So how big is this corn maze? You know, we're standing right in the middle of it.
This is 8 acres of paths. I think we figure about 2 miles worth of paths in the.
And is it one path? Is it multiple paths? Do you just follow one straight path through?
No, it's multiple paths. You can get lost in certain areas and go around and around.
And how long does it take to go through from start to finish?
I'm gonna say roughly an hour. Some people are faster, some are a little slower than that, but roughly an hour.
So I have never really been in a corn maze before. I know they're pretty popular here, but do you have any tips for going through the corn maze, especially one that you said the paths are 2 miles long?
Well, what we have is blocks in the corn maze, and at each block they're numbered 1 through 10. And at each block you get you have a trivia question that you would answer and go left to right, and that helps you kind of work your way through the maze.
Okay. So it's not just luck and guessing.
Right. And we also have what we call corn cops walking in there, and they'll help you out if you're stuck.
Okay. Alrighty, so on that note, should we give it a try?
Sure. Absolutely.
Before heading into the corn, we figured we'd ask some maze goers for their best advice.
What's your best advice?
Just follow the corn from shortest to tallest.
You really have to think, where could this be going towards the greenhouse again? It's more of like a feeling, like you feel it here and in your gut.
Just keep moving and don't stop.
Is it possible to get really lost?
Yes,
Really?
really lost.
There's so many circles and everything.
Always keep in mind you're always gonna find your way out, so don't get scared that you're not gonna find your way out because you always are.
Well, that makes me feel better, so let's give it a try. In we go.
All right, we've come to our first fork in the road, left or right. Let's figure out, we've got number 1, we'll figure out which way are we going. Where was Lord of the Rings filmed? A, South Africa, which you turn right, or New Zealand, turn left. I'm gonna go New Zealand. Is that right? Karen says it's right, so we're going left, this way. That's right. I'm gonna get lost, this is bad. Number 2, left or right? Let's go right. Well, it's not good when you have to retrace your steps. Number 2, let's go left this time.
You just wanna keep going that way.
I feel like we're making progress. Oh yeah, this is wrong. This is definitely wrong. So far we haven't seen any numbers and we've turned too many corners. We've hit a wide open patch. I wonder where we are in the design. So the one boy said, follow the short corn to the tall corn. Everything is starting to look the same. We're trying to go with the gut feeling now. I think we just came from here. Which way should we go?
Take left.
Should we turn around? I think we should turn around. Looks like someone must have left a popcorn trail. Should we follow it? We also found number 9. Don't know where 8 was, but that's okay. Okay, this is starting to look promising. We're getting closer to the greenhouse. All right, we're about 45 minutes in and we found number 10. I think we're getting really close. I think we did it. Let's go. Yes! We've reached the exit, finally. Let's see, we are about just over an hour into the whole maze.
We tested everyone's advice and methods and may have gotten really lost at times, but it was all worth it for a fun day at Stoughton Farm. Coming up after the break, we can't think of fall without mentioning Halloween, so we'll show you the fear of the Southern Tier. Stay with us. Warning: the following content may be frightening or upsetting to some. Viewer discretion is advised. Welcome back to Twin Tier Sunday. To wrap up our all about fall adventure, we're making a spooky stop.
And so for our final stop, we can't think of fall without thinking of Halloween. So we're at one of the Twin Tiers' spookiest attractions, Tagsylvania over in Big Flats. And I'm joined now by Jesse Ribb, the operations manager here. So tell us, first of all, what is Tagsylvania for people who maybe don't know?
Okay, so Tagsylvania is a 3-part haunted attraction. We have 3 different haunted houses on premise. We have Lecter's Lair, which is a 2-story Victorian-style haunted mansion. Jerkus Circus, which is a 3D blacklight haunted house. And then Psycho Swamp, which is a haunted trail that you walk through.
All are scary. I've been through all of them. Tell us, I guess, is there one that's scarier than the other?
It depends. I mean, some people are really scared of clowns, so the circus is definitely going to freak them out. And then other people being outside in the woods, in the dark, that's really scary, so the swamp is great for that. And then we also have the house where, it's a confined space, it's really dark, there's people everywhere, it's very high energy. So we have a little bit of everything for everybody in that kind of sense.
What goes into putting this all together every season and creating some of these different attractions?
So we're very fortunate that we have a lot of talented people in our area that work with us. We have local acting groups from in this region that will help us with getting cast and things like that. And then also we do planning meetings throughout the year. We actually start preparing for Tagsylvania the day after Halloween. We start for the next season.
Wow. So how long has Tagsylvania been here in Big Flats, and how has it evolved over the years?
So this is actually our 7th year of Tagsylvania, and we are light years ahead from where we were previously. If you look at previous years, everything's changing, everything's different. We're constantly adding new things, changing rooms around, moving walls, building entirely new attractions as well.
So on an average day before the gates open, what is it like backstage? Are you rehearsing, getting everyone ready? How does that go?
First thing we do always is a safety check. We make sure that all the attractions are safe, not only for our actors, but our customers as well. Once we get that taken care of, then we start getting the actors ready. We get them into costume, we get them into makeup, and that's a very extensive process. It takes about 2 hours to get everybody dressed up.
How many actors do you have on staff here?
88.
And are they rehearsing? How long does it take to get everybody prepared for the role that they'll be playing?
Some roles are a little more particular than others, so we actually created this program called the Creeper College, which one of our cast members, Beth Clark, heads up from one of the local acting groups in our area. And at this, they learn how to scare effectively.
They do scare effectively, I'll tell you that. What goes into scaring effectively?
First we teach them how to walk like a zombie, because I think everybody needs to know how to do that. And then, we teach them how to effectively scare the entire group. We'll teach them different lines so that they're saying different things, and just making them comfortable with it, because working in a haunted house, it's different than anything you've probably ever experienced.
Uh-oh, I'm nervous. Now, on that note, I thought we'd take the opportunity to show you my experience going through Jerkus Circus. Watch me scream my head off. Hey Jerkus, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
So what do I have to worry about in here?
Let's go!
Here we go!
Why did you do that?
It's just Tom! It's just Tom! We're jumping for joy in here! She's still there! I think there's someone back there. What's wrong?
They have me trapped in this box, and they won't let me out, please! Just help!
I'm so sorry! I don't know what to do!
Everybody loves me because I am the star of everything. Keep lucky.
Okay, we're just
You do not like me?
I love you!
Get
Do we go behind door number 1? Nope, it's locked. Door number 2? No, it's locked. Oh! Craig found the door. Good luck. Oh, that video still gives me the chills, but I'm gonna brave up and go back in and try it again this year. Now, we're getting ready to open the gates here, so we do have to go. But thanks for watching Twin Tier Sunday. Hope you have a wonderful fall. Get out there and enjoy all the activities. Enjoy, and we'll see you next time.